Hey y'all, I'm Janae and welcome back to Make Room. This series is all about helping you see your home differently and creating spaces that truly work for your life. In today's episode, we're designing for longevity. We're thinking beyond paint colors and furniture and really starting to focus on those things that really impact how your home functions for years to come. We're talking about materials, flooring, countertops, cabinetry, your outside home facade, a fireplace, your backsplash. All of these areas where experience really matters, because a mistake here can be really costly, really frustrating, and in many cases hard to undo. So today I want to walk you through how we as designers really support our clients in their homes to make decisions that are gonna evolve with them for years to come. Let's get into it. I just had a discovery call with a potential client who installed new flooring and cabinets nearly 4 years ago and then stopped because he was so scared to make the decision on the stain or the color of the cabinets as well as the backsplash. And in moments like this, I am so grateful that he reached out to us, because for a homeowner, decisions like this can be really scary because they not only have significant costs, but they also really affect the maintenance of your home, the durability, the resale, and all of those things certainly matter. So here's how we approach those long-term investments. As designers, we don't just pick what looks good. Materials are never just a matter of aesthetics. We're always evaluating them from multiple lenses. We're looking at the material itself, the durability, the maintenance, the safety, the performance, as well as the cost. A countertop shouldn't just be pretty, it needs to support your life. If you're the type of individual who loves to cook and loves a glass of wine, marble is not gonna be your friend. It's a soft stone, it stains easily, it needs a lot of refinishing. If you have kids or pets, then there are certain flooring that are just not gonna support the day-to-day of lots of little feet running around on it. And if you're looking for something that's low maintenance, there's options for that. So it's not just about the aesthetics, it's about the materials themselves and how they're gonna work for your life. Which brings me into my next point, is that for us as designers, performance and function go hand in hand. If you've been following our series for a while, you know that our first video was function, and there was a reason for that. Whether we're doing something like a very small design or a major renovation, function always comes first. I mean, how can we make a decision to knock down a wall and figure out a new floor plan if we don't figure out how you function in this space and how it needs to naturally flow for your day-to-day? And then when it comes to performance, again, we're thinking about those high traffic areas. The materials and flooring that we would select for a sitting room per se are much different than what we would need for a mudroom, because there's a lot more traffic going on there. So that's why our intake process is so important, and why we ask those questions from the very beginning. How is the space going to be used? Because as designers, we want to protect you from falling in love with something that's not going to love you back. The worst thing that could happen is that you find a product that is so beautiful and you love the look of it, but it's just not going to support the performance and functionality of your home, or you fall in love with it and it's outside of your cost, or you fall in love with it and it's really not a safe option. Which brings me to my next point. The health and safety of the products that people put into their home really matters more than you may realize. So as designers, we're looking at things like the VOC in your paints and how many chemicals are being emitted there. We're looking at how materials will age and what they release into the home. We're also considering, again, if you have kids, if you have pets, if you have allergies, there are certain materials that are safer than others. And it's really important to know which products are out there that are gonna have that longevity, but are also going to age really well and keep you safe in your home. So when our tag is "we design spaces you love to live in," we're taking that literally. We want to make sure that it is a place that is safe for you to live in, because that's really responsible design. Next, when we're thinking about those permanent features in your home, we have to consider the sustainability of them and the longevity. We have to really be evaluating the materials on their life cycle. How are they going to age? Will they need to be refinished? Is the material that has a warranty? Because again, if we're spending a lot of money on it, we want to make sure that if something does happen, especially when we think about things that are natural stone, they may chip, they will need to get resealed at some point. We want to consider how long these things are going to last, as well as if it's ethically sourced. We take pride in the connections that we have with our local retailers, as well as ones beyond our state, to really figure out how these products were being made, because that's important to us. And for a lot of clients, that's important to them too. Now look, I know when you hear longevity, sustainability, you're thinking price tags. And for some products, that may be the case. But as designers, we are here to really make sure that we're balancing quality with your budget. Ultimately, we want to make sure that our clients don't have the false economy decisions, which are basically you make one purchase that is at a lower price tag because you think that it's going to last you, but the longevity really isn't there. A great way to look at that is what we see in the fashion industry. You often hear people saying, okay, if you buy fast fashion, yes, you might get a shirt for $20, but that shirt likely not going to last you to next year. But if you invest in something of higher quality, you may have those pieces for 5 to 10 years. That same principle applies when it comes to design and the materials that we select. We want to make sure that our clients avoid buying things cheaper twice and having to have those products be reinstalled multiple times, because those type of things, when we think about labor costs, it really adds up. So when you're working with our team, we are your strategic spenders, because look, there are some things that just do not deserve premium dollars, and then there's other things that absolutely do. And to make sure that happens, that brings me to my next point, which is we don't guess here, we evaluate. Everything that we do in our intake process is asking these type of questions to get the clarification we need to really support our clients through these choices. We intentionally ask questions on how you live, not just the things that you like. And we have the conversations about budget really early. We want to make sure that our clients understand the costs associated with things, with the certain type of materials, with the performance value, as well as the cost for install, the labor it takes to make sure that things are installed properly so that it also is going to last is really important. So we want to make sure that our clients are really educated in all elements of the design process, not just what it takes to make a beautiful design, which we certainly will do, but make sure that it's going to last for you for years and years to come. Next up, for us, material selection is always integrated. It's never at the end. In our last video, we talked a lot about styling and how that does take place at the end of every project, but materials are never an afterthought. They are very, very early in the process. After we've done our intake and we've asked all those questions and we've talked about budget and we've got a really good idea of where we want to go, that's when we're having those conversations about materials. Because materials are going to impact your layout is going to impact your lighting is going to impact your color. It is also interconnected, and we need to make sure that all of those things are in order. One of the most fun parts of any project is when we bring all the materials to our clients and we do an actual material board where they get to feel it, they get to see it, they get to make sure that it is exactly what they were thinking from a visual standpoint, but we're also allowing that time to really talk through everything that we mentioned before. How long is this gonna last? How was this made? What's the install process gonna look like? Those things are never an afterthought. They are so intentional. If I had to round it all out, yes, there are a lot of steps here, and designing for the long game is certainly about future-proofing your home, making sure that things are going to last, but it's also about flexibility and adaptability. That's where the true design side of it, the visual, the aesthetics really comes in. Because yes, these selections are ultimately permanent. Yes, they could be removed, but again, we're going to do it right the first time to where that's not the case. And then with the flexibility of the home, we want to make sure that it can truly evolve with you. So that way, if you do bring in some different furniture pieces over time as your style continues to evolve, it's going to have that adaptability to be able to handle those small little tweaks, but to where you're not going back and saying, you know what, I got to take that tile down. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that those selections that we're making more of a high investment are the pieces that we know we're going to love, they're going to work for you, they're going to function well, they're going to age well, and they're going to be worth whatever investment we're putting into it. So going back to the potential client that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, after we had our initial call and really just walked through what our process looks like, there was so much relief because he realized he doesn't have to make all of these decisions alone. These choices are layered, they're interconnected, and they deserve time. So we're looking forward to supporting him in his design journey, and we really understand the value of how we could support you and yours. In the next episode, we're pulling the curtains back even further, and we're gonna be sharing what we see as designers that most people don't. Basically, those invisible decisions and experience that really shape a space behind the scenes. So if you're not subscribed, now's the time so that way you don't miss it. And if you're thinking about a renovation or a major design decision that you need guidance for, you can get on our calendar by booking a discovery call using the link below. We are absolutely here to help you make some confident choices for your home. So until the next one, bye.